The next thing we'll move to is your diet. The foods that you're eating are obviously going to impact how your body responds. And just number one, from a meal time, we want to have your last meal kind of more than 3 hours prior to your bedtime. Now that, again, might not be, depending on what your day-to-day activities, what you're trying to fit in. This may not work, but the idea is we want to try and move our meal time for the same types of reasons as exercise, where we're going to create essentially a different shift in our body temperature. We're going to create a shift in our hormone levels. All of those things are going to be adjusted by our meal time, and that's going to affect how quickly our body is able to adapt into a better sleep. So we'll get more detailed about that, but I wanted to mention that within the diet category. So we're also looking at alcohol, and this I think is probably one of the most important, probably one of the top three, is if you're having alcohol at any point in the day, but specifically during the evening. Some people find that it helps them fall asleep, and I've heard that before. But in reality, what it's going to do is it's really going to affect the sleep quality again. You may fall asleep initially after having some alcohol, but the reality is you'll wake more frequently during the night. It's a very strong diuretic, so you're going to, number one, probably need to get up at least once or twice during the night to empty your bowels, empty your bladder. But in addition to that, it also creates this kind of light sleeping scenario where, again, you're not going into that, going through all three stages of sleep, but rather it's a broken sleep that won't give you good quality sleep. So you may still be in bed for long hours, but you may not get the quality you need from that sleep. And the same kind of goes for caffeine, of course. So one of the studies that was referenced by Matthew Walker, Dr. Walker, was that after a cup of coffee or ingesting some caffeine, about 6 hours in, you still have about 50% of the caffeine in your system. And then 12 hours later, you still have about 25%, so a quarter of your caffeine is still in your system, and your body's still dealing with it. So that means if you have a cup of coffee at, say lunchtime or a little before lunchtime, it's still going to be impacting you. And then when you start thinking, if you've had an afternoon cup of coffee, think of how this is addressing your ability to fall asleep, and then that quality of sleep, again, is just going to be impacted by caffeine. I'm someone who likes caffeine, so I'm not going to argue with those that want to continue to have caffeine. Just understanding that if you are having really challenging sleep, insomnia, these are areas that are kind of low-hanging fruit that we can really make a big impact into your ability to fall asleep. And if it really is between one or the other, we need to kind of turn the needle into the direction of more positive sleep. Food sensitivities, so allergies to different food, and then just the sensitivity to food is very important as well. Where for instance, gluten intolerance or dairy intolerance, things of that nature really do impact your ability to get good quality sleep. So again, we're kind of touching on some of the big ones, but these are all things that we can be adapting and having a really positive effect on. So we'll stop there, and then I'll continue in my next video blog. I hope that this has been helpful, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks.